Right, very, very, very quick disclaimer. My internet's been playing up all morning, and big sexy producer Ian's in the background. So if anything goes wrong, he's going to jump in straight away, take over the show, do a better job than me until such times as my internet comes back, and then I'll come back in, and then you can all shout in the comments, "Where's Ian? Where's big sexy Ian?" Um, that's what we're going to do. So that's the disclaimer. I can't see the comment, but yes, I was waiting to put 50 pence in the meter. They're still doing works outside my house, which is extremely frustrating. And you would think in 2024 that it would not affect your broadband. That's what you would think. Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your morning rabble here on the Rangers Rabble podcast. And guess what? We've actually got a bit of football to talk about, which I know sounds strange. I know that I picked probably the worst possible time to try and start doing these morning shows and do it full time. As Toronto Bear said to me, I'm sure it was Toronto Bear. Toronto, you can tell me if it wasn't you. But it said to me last night, I've heard that conversation 2 or 3 times now. I'm watching too much rabble. Well, you can never watch too much rabble, right? You can never, ever, ever watch too much rabble. But yes, I get your point. It's been a very, very, very slow news fortnight. But Rangers are back. Please get your thoughts, your comments, your opinions on Sunday's game in. I've got a few membership updates to put out there for everybody. I hope the volume's not too low. Producer Ian will give me a nod or that if it is. It's all right, right? If only his face there. I don't care. I really don't care. That was his face. But yeah, you know how I like a question of the day? Well, by the way, this room's been tidied up and now I can hear pure echoing. I need to make this room a mess again so that it's not as echoey. I like questions of the day, right? And as many um, constant Rabble viewers will know, Timothy Sharp's got about 60 Oasis tickets. And I don't even want to know how much he's paid for them. So what's your most extravagant ticket purchase? It could be going to a football game. It could be going to a music venue. It could be going to places that you're not allowed to say on here. But what's your most extravagant ticket purchase? Now, I've got a really boring answer to this because I've not been to that many gigs across my life, even though I do love music. I've been to many, many football games, but the ones that have cost the most, it's always been somebody else's bought them, hence why I've went, because I'm not buying a fortune to go and watch football. But I think I paid like 90 quid or something to go and see Phil Collins back in the day. I can't remember. I can't remember how much I paid for the Phil Collins tickets, but it was for two. It was for two. So I think it was about 90 quid. I can't remember. 2 grand for the UEFA Cup final in 2008. I mean, I was in Manchester. I wasn't fortunate enough to get to. I wasn't fortunate enough to get to the game. £134 for Eminem. Now, I went to see Eminem when I was 16 at Hampden, and I got because I knew something or my granda knew somebody. I got the tickets for free to go and see Eminem. Good tickets as well. Cost me £3 to see Chuck Berry in Glasgow, but it was a lot different in the 40s, John. It was so much different in the 40s. But yeah, so what's your most extravagant purchase that you've ever made in your life? And look, Neil, 150 to see us do 9 in a row at Tannadice. It was worth more than that. Let's be honest. It was worth more than that, wasn't it? If we're really being honest about it, it was worth so much more than that. Folks, with 1984, £3.20 to see the Jam. Oh, now it costs you more than £3.20 for Jam. That's how bad things are. But yeah, Owen, James, football, Martin, love your work, buddy. All the best for the future, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, and they're all coming in now. So my producer's going to star as many of them as possible in the background so that I can bring them up. I like this, just a wee chat. Especially if there's not a great deal to bring up and talk about, folks. Obviously, we've got the phone in at 12. I've got a guest coming on at 11:45 as well. So it's all happening. It's all happening. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get somebody from either Dundee United, not that somebody from Dundee United Football Club's going to come on here, or anybody from a Dundee United podcast. I did get some good feedback for the guys. Unfortunately, they weren't available, but hopefully they will be in the future. I am trying to get it to a point where we can speak to somebody from the opposing team who we're playing at the weekend or midweek, get them on, give us a flavour of how they're doing, what their thoughts are ahead of the game, who we should look out for. Just try and make it a bit more informative, really. So I'm trying to do that. The second question of the day, right? Now this is a Rangers question, and this was something that I believe was posted on Twitter yesterday. That one of the guys put in the WhatsApp group, right? You start one, you bench one, and you sell one. So three players, you start one, you bench one, you sell one, and the three players are Brian Laudrup, Paul Gascoigne, and Ali McCoist. That's your choices. That is your choices. So you start one, you bench one, and you sell one. Brian Laudrup, Paul Gascoigne, or Ali McCoist. Completely up to you. Whatever way you want to go about it, go for it. I am having absolutely no comment on it whatsoever because I don't know. But yeah, there we go. Right, folks, before we bring in our guest, just really quickly, because it's been spoke about so much, it is looking very, very likely that James Tavernier will be staying with Rangers Football Club. There looks like there's no deals available to him in Turkey. It's very unlikely somebody from Saudi Arabia is going to be is going to come in and take him. So it looks as though James Tavernier will be staying at Rangers Football Club. I think we pretty much all expected that. But what's your reaction to that? Because I've had loads of people message, some on screen, some off screen, who are not too pleased. But look, what I will say, folks, is, and I think it has got to that point now, when we're talking about James Tavernier or we're talking about any other player in that Rangers team, I think now, I think now it's time to just calm down, get behind the team, try and move forward. Um, James, and let's just deal with the fact that Tav's going to be here. The manager is going to start him in the majority of games. He's the captain of the football club. And I think we just have to get used to that notion and accept that James Tavernier is going to be here till at least January, more so probably the end of the season and beyond. I think that's really where we have to sit on it. I knew Big Dave would be straight in the comments on that one. I will not even tell you what Big Dave has said to me. Big Dave will tell you himself. What he's said. And look, I think this could work. Alan Kelly, Tav needs rotated. I completely agree. I completely agree. He probably needs dropped, to be honest. And I say probably is the nicest possible way. And I know, look, there'll be loads of you sitting there going, "Oh, we're talking about Tavernier again. We've had this conversation 1,000 times. Fed up talking about James Tavernier. He's at the football club. So
Well, didn't take as long as we thought, did it? So we're on Tav, and Tav being here till at least January because he can't go anywhere. All the transfer windows are shut now. It is Friday the 13th. Let's not forget that. That's why all this is happening. It's Friday the 13th. It's not just happening here because I've had issues online as well this morning with other things that I do. He's in the background. He's coming back. Don't worry. So keep Tav in mind. Sniper, how you doing? There he is. Look.
Yeah, this is getting beyond a joke now, producer Ian.
Oh, well, I just put these glitches in so I can pop on every now and again. That's what it's not. There's nothing to do with your internet. It's me.
Can I just actually ask you, and I like calling you producer Ian because it makes me feel like this is professional. Just before our guest will be on very shortly, it's William Urban, by the way. I say guest, he's part of the Rabble. He's not been on for a while. He's got a lot of stuff going on. He's doing his own thing. He's doing really well. But he's on to give us a
And we'll never know what he's on to give us because mine's against frozen. So we now know that Willie's coming on. So I'm sure there was a question coming up there, and I'm scared that he's going to ask me that TAV question. Not the TAV question. He's going to ask me the start, the bench, the sell one, and make me answer it.
I'm gonna throw my internet out the window. Is what I'm going to do.
I mean, I could tell you who I've gone with, but I don't think we can advertise it on here because that'd be wrong. Because other internet providers are available, but I believe you used them before, the one I've just switched over to, and you don't like them, so I'm not going there.
Does it start with a V?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, I don't like them. The problem with resetting my router, Neil, is that if I reset my router now, it's going to be about another 5 minutes before I can come back on. So there we go. But producer Ian, I will let you go just now. And if the internet goes again, then you can jump back in, my friend.
I'll jump in with Willie, who's now in the background, ready to get. Oh no, he's gone. He's decided, no, enough's enough. I'm out. He's gone. He ran away.
I love doing live stuff. I love doing live stuff because there's just no hiding from your incompetence.
Well, Right, I'll be in the background if you need me.
Thank you very much, producer Ian. Thank you. But yeah, look, I can only apologise, folks, and I need to try and get this sorted because it doesn't look good for a start, and it's really, really annoying for me because I I overthink everything that I'm doing, and it starts to get to me. But listen, I am delighted that I can now introduce. I say a very good friend of mine. I'm not so sure that he likes me that much, but I class him as a very good friend. A man who is knowledgeable on all things Rangers B and Academy. It is, of course, William Irwin. William, how are you?
I'm all good, mate. What about yourself?
I've been better. I'm having severe internet issues.
It's just a norm there, isn't it?
It's just the norm. So if mine goes, producer Ian will be coming in to ask you questions that he's not set up for.
It's all right. I don't mind. You know me.
Obviously, the reason I wanted to have you on was because I've not seen you for ages and I miss you, firstly. And secondly, it's been a strange time for the Academy, William. I had a good conversation during the week about it and how it's basically not done the job that it's supposed to do. What kind of state is the Rangers Academy in overall?
I suppose it's in that kind of period of flux, isn't it? With Zeb leaving, David McCallum's obviously in temporary charge, so he's been trying to kind of put blocks in place to kind of maybe kind of right the ship a little bit. I would say the one good thing so far this season is that the B team have played consistently pretty good opposition. You know, they've obviously got Manchester United away tomorrow, which is a great game for the lads. They've obviously played against Luton recently, and obviously some other top flight teams in England. So I think they're probably trying to kind of steady the ship after what happened last season, which, look, at the end of the day, the second half of last season for the B team in particular was pretty poor. You know, we can't get away from that fact. The 18s have started this season reasonably well. They've obviously got a friendly today against Carlisle United, so it'll be another good test maybe for some of the younger players in the group. But yeah, look, there's certainly still some work to get done that needs to get rectified, and it'll be interesting to see who eventually gets the head of the academy job, if it is going to be David McCallum or if it's going to be somebody else.
Is that something, do you think, that needs sorted pretty soon, the fact that we don't have a head of academy?
Well, I guess Rangers would argue we do, because Davey's currently doing the job to a point. Obviously, he isn't officially in that position, but you know, he's basically doing all the other jobs that kind of come with it. But look, at the end of the day, I think when somebody's announced and somebody's in position, it just makes things maybe a little bit more solid, a little bit more comfortable for everybody around there. But Davey's always been doing that job now for whatever that is, kind of 4 or 5 months. And at the end of the day, like, Davey's a well-kept face, isn't he? You've obviously got to know Davey when we were covering the B team. You get to know the kind of character he is. He's a good guy. He's somebody that cares about the club. He cares about the academy. He's obviously got quite a good knowledge of all the players at the academy, having been with Rangers for a number of years now. I think if you're looking for somebody to come in and steady the ship, then I think, you know, Davey's probably the guy to get the job. I think to put Zeb there previously, it maybe didn't work out as well as the club had hoped. So maybe just steadying the ship is what's required.
In terms of what most people want to talk about, though, in terms of individual players making that jump, players making that kind of step up. Obviously, we have, I don't know how many times, Willie, that me and you have had this conversation about Alex Lowry. In fact, we spoke about it on the phone the other day. And you were saying to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be wrong, because I usually am. This is him now in the last year of his contract.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Alex is in the last year. Look, I mean, like you've obviously watched games with Alex playing. You know, when I've been there, I've obviously watched a lot of games with Alex myself, and Alex is probably one of the most technically gifted young players we've brought through at the academy. The things the kid can do is just ridiculous, in all honesty. But for whatever reason, whether it's, you know, the work rate, whether it's the attitude, whatever it is that is lacking with Alex, it's, you know, it's just holding him back so much because, look, there's no doubt when Alex is on the ball, his ability to create, to score goals, to do things that other players can't, there's something you can't really teach somebody. You know, it's just a natural kind of ability that you have. So, look, there's huge amounts of frustration in my side with Alex in particular because, you know, the kids get so much ability, it's untrue. And for it to probably end the way it is really disappointing, in all honesty.
Can I just throw a curveball at you? And then we'll come back to the academy. What's the most expensive what's the most extravagant fee you've ever paid for tickets? Whether it's football, music, whatever. What's the most you've ever paid for tickets?
Probably not that much, to be honest. Probably like 50, 60 quid for like a concert, probably, or a football ticket, like going to watch Rangers, probably that Champions League campaign recently. Before that, it would have probably been like 30 or 40 pounds. So I've never been one for too much extravagance, in all honesty, when it comes to things like that. But
he's good at doing that.
He really is.
Getting through a thing and saying absolutely nothing. He's giving the win a background.
Absolute nightmare. This is doing my head in.
It's Friday the 13th. What do you expect?
That's true.
It's doing my head in, producer Ian. Doing my head in. What I was actually saying, and I was setting up for a joke, which is the most frustrating thing, Willie, is that you can proudly say you've never paid 90 quid for steps tickets.
That is absolutely true. And I never would. Look, I think for me, it's like sort of the cost of everything nowadays. I mean, I don't know what the tickets for the sort of Europa League thing's going to be. I would imagine you're probably looking at 40, 45, 50 pounds. So that'll be right up there as much as I've ever paid for a ticket in terms of going to watch like a sporting event, because it's getting to the point now where I totally understand why people are saying it's too expensive. I mean, I'm at that point myself because like there is a kind of cutting line where you've got to think, is a 90-minute game of football really worth 50, 60, 70 pounds? Because I saw the Aston Villa prices the other day there, and that is truly shocking in my eyes.
It is. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Right, okay, back to the B team before I genuinely throw my computer out the window. So it does seem, and I did see the comment, and I'm sorry I can't find it, that we have, and again, we have the same conversations all the time, whether it's Lowry, Zach Lovelace. Are you hearing anything at the academy to say that there's one or two players that are ready to make that step up?
Well, I think Zach and the men's been training with the first team all pre-season and during the start of the season. They're obviously maybe just been extra kind of protective of Zach because of the two hamstring injuries that he's had, which have kept him out for a good period of time. But I think Zach's definitely got an opportunity. You know, somebody with that power, with that pace, the ability to take players on, the ability to score goals. You know, obviously, even just that wee 40-minute salvo against St Mirren that people got to see last season shows just probably 5 or 10% of what Zach can bring. Injuries have really held Zach back. Obviously, Archie Stevens is a very good wide player, can take players on, can score goals, can be creative. Obviously, Bailey, I mean, I don't think we really need to get into the Bailey thing again. I mean, everybody that's watched Bailey would tell you that the kid's got extreme ability, and it's just a matter of finding a set kind of spot for Bailey, whether that's as a 6, as an 8, whatever way you want to look at it. There is ability there. It's about the manager putting faith in the young players. He obviously has to a point with Ross McCausland and Robbie Fraser in particular. But yeah, I can certainly see Zach Lovelace getting some minutes once he's fully up to where the manager thinks he needs to be.
Robbie Fraser as well.
Yeah.
Alan Kelly's put in. He seems to be in and about the first team now, which is really good. Obviously, you've known Robbie for a long time. I've spoken to him myself. He's not somebody who's short on confidence of his own ability.
No, he's definitely not.
He sees himself while he's been good enough and been able to get into that Rangers first team. Do you see that happening as well?
Yeah, look, Robbie's had to do it the hard way, in all honesty. As a young kid, he was a central midfield player. He was then kind of advised that he should maybe go and play left back, which he went away and worked on that, and he come back, and he's been excellent at left back. Now he's been given his chance in the first team, and I don't think he's let anybody down whenever he's come on, which I think is probably the best thing you can say about any young academy player. But yeah, look, Robbie's a great kid. He's always very well spoken. He's obviously always got time for people. Even when he seen me and you coming, he would obviously come and say hello when he probably didn't want to. And that's just the kind of kid he is. He's been brought up the right way. His mum and his dad are really good people. And I think you see that in Robbie. He's just one of those guys that'll always have time to say hello if you want a picture. I mean, he was at the game in the last round of the SPFL Trust Trophy. And even while he was like sort of standing talking to like some of his friends, like some young kids were coming up asking for a picture, and Robbie always found time to do that. And I think that kind of shows you, the kind of person that Robbie is.
He is. And while we're on the subject of individual players, somebody who I really do rate and has changed a lot actually in just a couple of years is channel member William. That's probably the best name for a channel member, Willie. Finlay Curtis. Finlay is a strange one because he went from being about 5 foot to about 5'11" in the blink of an eye. Scores barrel loads of goals. Isn't necessarily an out and out striker. Can play various positions across the midfield. But like I said,
yeah, look, Finlay's one of those kids. He's went from playing in the kind of under 16s where he wasn't probably playing as much as he would have liked. He's kind of dropped in and out of the team. He's then offered like an amateur contract to stay on with the under 18s. He does that well, that he ends up getting offered a professional contract with the 18s because he did that well. He then goes on, I think, that first season to be like the top goal scorer with the under 18s. Comes back in the second season, he's equally as good. His numbers for a player that's not actually a number 9 are ridiculous. His ability to score goals, to get himself into the right positions, the runs that he makes into the box. He just seems to have a knack of doing that. And I think when you've got a young player that's got that kind of ability, you just want to keep, helping them and developing them and giving them that opportunity to push on. And obviously he's been away and trained with the first team during pre-season. He's living the dream for every young Rangers fan, isn't he? And he's a great kid, Finlay, as well. I've got to speak to his dad and his brother quite a few times, and they're really good people, just like Finlay is. So it's not really a surprise that the kid's the same.
I mean, this is part of the reason why I part of me wishes I could move back up because then I could get involved in the B team stuff as much. Because obviously living down here in Norwich, I don't get to see it apart from the odd game which goes onto YouTube or whatever. I mean, I did catch quite a bit of the was it the European stuff that they were doing last season, playing the likes of Real Madrid and Liverpool and all that lot. Just so you let you know, guys, that Martin's dropped out to reset his router. So now you've got me for the next however long. So Willie's going to have to hold all this together because I have no idea about the B team. I don't know what's going on in the B team. But just sticking with the last guy we were talking about in Finlay Curtis, Pacer says that he is absolutely ready. Is that something you go along with? Is he ready to make that step?
It's tough because, see, at the end of the day, you're never going to be 100% sure of anybody making that step up because it is a huge step. You're going from playing against basically under 21 teams because that's what the B team and the main play against, apart from when they're playing in the SPFL Trust Trophy. So, I mean, it's a huge thing to say. I think there's some players that are more ready because of their physicality, because of their size, because of their power and stuff like that. So you think that they can make that step up maybe slightly easier. Finlay is still quite small, as Martin says. Like, he's under 6 foot. He's probably not the biggest and the strongest, but he's one of those kids that just seems to always find a way of either scoring a goal or being involved in the build-up to the goal. He just seems to have that ability. And even this season, with him making the step up to the B team, he's continued to score goals and be a big part of what the team's trying to do. And I think whenever you talk about Finlay, there's always more positivity than anything else. And I think that's just the kind of kid he is. Is he going to get a chance in the first team? I guess only time's going to tell on that. He did only sign a 1-year contract last summer, which I think was the right thing to do, just based on, at that point, I'm not really too sure any of us knew what was going to be happening with the B team. So if the worst it came to the worst, he might have just went out on loan and played somewhere else.
And then just to finish it up, though, because obviously the whole point of having the youth system is to use it, and hopefully we do get that. And the sniper, Aldo, is writing in there that Clement said when he first came in, he likes to give youth a chance. But are we actually seeing that from the manager's point of view going forward? I know he's given some minutes here and there, but there's no consistency of minutes.
No, I think that's fair. Obviously, we've seen Cole McKinnon has come in and get minutes. Obviously, Robbie Fraser and Ross McCausland more so. Zach Lovelace. That's just to name some. I mean, there's obviously been a few other lads that have come on for very short periods of time as well. I think you could also go down the route that we've also signed a lot of young players from abroad. So the team has got younger. I think probably at the end of last season, with the players that we had, I mean, our average age must have been in the late 20s with the players that we had. Now it's probably in the kind of mid-20s, if not lower 20s, which was something that had to happen. We had to get younger. We had to, kind of add that to the team. I think that had been lacking for a few years. You look at guys like Diamande, like Cortez, like Jefte. They're obviously, fairly young in the overall scheme of things. We obviously have added some experience with, Proper coming in. Cherny's obviously in his mid-20s. So I think you could probably argue that we've signed young players and they're going to be developed at Rangers. But yeah, I would obviously like to see more academy players make the breakthrough and be given an opportunity to play. So that'll be interesting to see between now and maybe the end of this year, to see if more players are given that opportunity to get minutes on the pitch for the first team.
Yeah, but just before I do let you go, because I know Martin is coming back in, the one player that, like you say, that we've brought youth in from the continent, one of those is Nsiala.
Yeah.
As a B team follower, what does Nsiala look like on the pitch at this point? Is he anywhere near level, ready to take that next level step, or is he going to need a bit more time?
Yeah, I think he's going to need a bit of time. I mean, I don't know how well he speaks English either, so that's obviously something that he's going to have to develop, before he probably plays in the first team. Look, he's big, he's strong, he's got a decent turn of pace. He can play either at the kind of full-back position or in the centre-back. There's certainly quite a bit of rawness there. You can see that he does need some work. And that can happen. We took that risk with Bassey. There was obviously, a lot of development went on with Calvin before he probably hit, the level that he did. Rangers obviously see something in Clinton Nsiala, and it will be interesting to see when he actually does get some minutes. I think at the moment he's still a little bit away. I don't think he's at the level of the other centre-halves that we have at the football club, and by putting him in too early, it might actually hinder his, sort of development. So I can understand why he's been held back and why he's been given more B team games, which have been a lot more regular, it has to be said, this year. And I think it is fair to say it's been against a higher level of opposition, which I think can only help the players improve, because when you're playing against some of these under-21 teams from England, there's obviously a lot of quality on the pitch. And that's something that our players can only learn from when maybe they are making mistakes at that level.
hopefully, like you say, the more he plays, the better he gets. The more he understands the way we want to play, and obviously gets the language as well, which goes back to the old joke with Nisbet and Mikhailichenko, doesn't it? When he asked, "How's Nico? How's your English?" He goes, "Yeah, good, good. How's yours?" Yeah, back in the day of those ones. For those of you who remember those players, but here he is. Like he's back. He's back. He's made it.
I am going to do my best to try and
and-
hopefully I've reset my router. Hopefully that fixes it.
And I think Gallant's got you to a T, mate, to be honest.
Pretty much.
I'm going to dip out again because people are getting Hamish vibes, so I'm out.
Thank you, producer Ian. Thank you. Wally, I apologise that my internet's terrible. But
That's
thank
right.
you. Thank you very much for coming on, my friend, and I hope to see you back on the main shows soon.
Of course, I mean, if I'm free, I can obviously pop on and help, obviously, with work and the academy games, the first team games. It's been a bit of a busy start to the season, so see what free time I've got to actually do stuff these days.
No worries, buddy. Right, I'll speak to you soon. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So yeah, folks, I can only apologise. It doesn't look very professional, but I've reset my router. Hopefully that makes all the difference. If not, I can see Ian's got a pen in his hand. He's writing down stuff that he's going to come on and talk about if this goes tits up. But we're going to try. I'm going to try. 01416287237. I want to get your thoughts on Sunday's game, how you're feeling about it. What team would you like to see out in the park? What differences do you want Clermont to bring? Obviously, we're going to be live at 7:30 tonight. But we'll obviously go a bit more in depth. There's going to be more of us on the pod. It's not just one person sitting speaking. So we'll go into that and whatever and other Rangers news that we can find. So 01416287237. If you phone that right now, you will get straight through to the show. And then about 30 seconds in, when the internet goes, we'll all be off, and big sexy Hamish Ian will be on talking to you. I can see him in the background. He's looking up for it. He's looking motivated. He's looking ready to go. So yeah. And just before I bring up the next thing I wanted to talk about, actually, which was an article in a paper. I know. Don't shout at me. But I think it's actually probably a prevalent conversation, prevalent point that's been made, and it's a conversation that we probably have to have. But before I do that, the response that we've had since we started the morning show, since taking the podcast full time, has been nothing short of sensational. The membership numbers have shot through the roof, and we need to keep going like that. So if you're in a position and you want to help support the podcast and become a member, you can now by clicking the join button below, or getting into the description and clicking the link to become a member, just like David has. Thank you so much, David, for joining the podcast and helping to support us. And I hope you enjoy the extra content.
On David's thing, just going by what came up on YouTube, because I have YouTube on the background to keep an eye on everything as well. He upgraded his member to a Rabble CEO. So he's not only he's a new member, but he's not a new member. He's now a CEO instead.
Thank you very much, David. I appreciate that. That's fantastic. And if you are a CEO or a sponsorship tier member, please go to the membership community page where you will see a message. And then once you read that message, if you're up for it, please do email and we'll get all that sorted. So yeah, thanks for that. And by the way, if you don't and you just want to tune in and you just enjoy the morning shows and the reactions that we do, none of that's changing. This is all staying on public YouTube. All I ask is that you please give the show a like, and subscribe and share the podcast, and follow us across all socials. Help the podcast build and get better in these morning shows. Once I get super duper internet, you'll never have any issues, and we'll have boxes up here, and it'll all look dead professional. And I'll get one. Can you imagine maybe one of the green screens behind me, where all the news comes across and blah blah blah? Yeah, imagine all that. 01416287237 to get through to the show right now. Now, I'm not going to name the paper because, as you know, I'm not a great fan of mainstream media. But the article was along the lines of Rangers need X amount of million to catch Celtic, blah, blah, blah. Here's how that probably won't happen, even if we had the money. financial fair play is massive. I don't know the figures. I should know the figures, and I'm pretty sure there'll be people out there who have a go at me for not knowing the figures, and have a go at me for not knowing everything that I should know. People that are part of other podcasts that want to try and stick the knife in, who seem to be a wee bit jealous, in my opinion. You know who you are. But yeah, financial fair play, because of the way that the club's been run, because of the financial position that we are in, because of the amount that we sell players for, it's not possible for us to go out and spend X and X and X and X and X amount of million to try and, I suppose, catch up with Celtic. What we have to do is what the club are doing now, to be honest, and I know that we all hate it, folks. I hate it. I want us to go out and win every game. I want us to hammer Celtic, and be able to do stuff like that every single week. But realistically, we have to be patient. We have to go along the lines of where the club are going now, which is bringing in players for a wee bit of money, younger players, produce them, make them better, get them playing, and there's going to be a bit of pain along the way, as channel member John's saying. Realism is now required. I think it is. I think unfortunately it is. We're not in a position where we can go out and spend the same amount of money as Celtic on players, because Celtic have just been much better run as a football club than what we have. And I am starting now. It's almost like a realization has came over me, where I am starting to look at the way that we are bringing players in. It could be better. Of course it could. We could be bringing in much better players than what we are. We could be spending a wee bit more probably than what we are, if we were in a better financial position, but we're not. So like Wally spoke about there, that I just heard a wee bit of, the likes of Inciala coming for AC Milan, getting a bit of time in the B team and then getting promoted to the first team. Hefty coming in, players like that. I think that's the way that our football club now has to go. We can't go out and spend 30, 40, 50 million on players. It's really just not feasible. And I think we're going to all have to try and get used to that. On the questions that I asked at the beginning of the show, by the way, 01416287237. Come on, folks, get your calls in. Davy Reid spent 440 quid on Eagles tickets. Now, is that the band, the Eagles, or is that the American football team, the Eagles? Because I would probably pay £440 for the band, if I was in that kind of position. But yeah, buying my wife and daughter flights and park tickets for Disney 4 times in 1 year, that's just mental. And I know that, all right, you live in Canada, right? So you're quite close to America. I get that. But that is just absolutely mental. I've been to Disneyland Paris about 3 years ago. Still paying that off. Timothy Sharp, Madonna for my wife and daughter, 400 quid each. I went to, but don't tell. Do you know, Madonna's underrated, I think. I think Madonna's actually, if you listen to her stuff, she's got some really good stuff. Producer Ian, did I just say that? I did, didn't I? Damn it. Joe Bonamassa and Beth Hart in Amsterdam Car Theatre, front row, £1,200. I don't know who any of the 2 people are. Wait a minute, is that the guitar guy? Is that the guitar guy? Yeah, producer Ian, you Google that.
Well, some resetting his router really worked. Oh no, he's there. He's there. Oh no, he's gone again. He's back out. He's backed out. I will produce. But if anybody does know who those, because I don't know who they are either. And Timothy Sharp, if you bang on about Oasis tickets anymore, I will find out where you live and come and get them. Because I'm still waiting to find out if I'm going to be in this ballot today to try and get them. So don't mock me with your Oasis tickets rubbish. I'm about
serious question, Ian.
Yes.
For me, Oasis are extremely overrated.
Okay. What's your question?
Are they overrated?
In my eyes, no. Oasis were the band that got me into that type of music. So I had a choice. 1994, I had a choice. Okay. This is where my music taste could have been so much different. I had a choice. I could go and see Mariah Carey at Wembley Arena, I think it was at the time. or I could have gone to Cardiff to watch Oasis. I went to watch Oasis and never looked back. And they're not for everybody, because obviously the brothers do get on people's nerves and say some quite outlandish things. But yeah, I love them. Just to point out how much I love them, I've actually got a 7-inch vinyl up the stairs, which is just
Thank
15
God you
minutes.
stayed vinyl.
Yeah, which is just 15 minutes of those two arguing. That's all it is, and I bought that.
Mental. Oh, folks, we are going to have to finish up the show shortly, so I'll just keep Ian beside me, because my internet's not playing ball. I don't even think it's letting the calls through, which is seriously frustrating, because I am trying to make this as good as possible, and my internet is just making me look like an idiot.
I don't know if we brought this one up. Did you bring up the Catalyst comment?
I did, but I believe he was gone. But I will bring it back up. Stuff like this, the Catalyst. And let's get the season started on Sunday for real. £2 super chat, massive. Thank you very much for helping to support the channel. All the members, even all the people who tune in and just get the views up and like and subscribe. It's absolutely mental, the support that we get. Ian, let's do a very, very quick look ahead, because we're going to. You're not on tonight, are you? 7:30.
I am not on tonight. I'm on Sunday for the what we're doing there.
Right. So it's myself and Ian Thompson and somebody else. I can't remember. My memory's terrible. Really, really quick look ahead to Sunday, because, like I say, we'll be talking about it a lot more tonight. Are you nervous at all for Sunday, Ian? I'm seeing a lot of supporters who aren't exactly overconfident, if that's a word.
Coming away from the Old Firm defeat, I wasn't. I was extremely nervous, but I've had a fortnight to calm down from that. I know that Dundee United have had a good start to the season. They are currently above us in the league, but we're just into September now. We've not played a match in September yet due to the international break. So your season doesn't end in August, and well, unfortunately, Paddy Power had different things to say on that, because they went and paid out. But
now everybody's talking about it. So Paddy Power, fair play to the marketing guys there.
Well, yeah, and but as the 2 weeks have gone on, I've calmed down from that Old Firm defeat. We are and do have a better squad than most in the league. They'll give us a tough game, because they always do at Tannadice. It's been one of our bogey places for a very long time. I think in Gerrard's second season, we went up there and we lost 1-0. So it's not to be underrated. Oh, I'm getting shouted at now for lunch. So it's a good job we are going to win. But yeah, I'm not as nervous as I was.
No, neither am I. Absolutely not. And Jordan Stewart, even though this has been a calamity today, has decided to help the podcast out and join as a member. Thank you very much, Jordan. And like I say, just massive thank you to everybody who tunes in. I apologise for my internet connectivity issues. And I'm with Scott's Welder. I detest international breaks, especially for the podcast, because it makes it very, very difficult for content. But it just does. And that's just the position that we're in. Folks, I'm going to leave it there before I have any more internet issues. Again, I apologise. Like I say, these shows will keep going as long as you want to see them, as long as my internet allows them to go. They will keep going. We will be back tomorrow for members with a random Rabble. Back tonight at 7:30 for your Friday night Rabble on YouTube for everybody. And then on Sunday, we've got the build-up show for members, and then we're back with reaction on public YouTube for everybody as well, and then into next week. And it's just there's so much content. I was actually saying in the group chat last night, I am podcasted out. So I am, but I'm trying to get there. Yes, Wally, we're back on tonight, 7:30 right here on the Rangers Rabble YouTube channel. So make sure you tune in. Keep watching, folks. Keep liking. Keep subscribing. Those of you in a position to keep joining up as members. Let's help get the Rabble to where we all want it to be. So thank you, Producer Ian.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I'll speak to you all, every single one of you, tonight, 7:30.